I want your love, love, love.
Deep underwater, in the primordial oceans, the chemical ingredients for life were swirling around.
But the goal of winning full equality remains elusive. Worldwide, women hold less than a quarter of seats in national legislatures.
Out there, we will say to the regulators that we are the most transparent, most powerful, and most legal cryptocurrency out there.
In 2019,
Kushner companies.
It is abundantly clear that Kushner companies made the lives of its tenants a living hell.
The nonprofit group Housing Rights.
Fortunately, even if I was invited, I wouldn't have gone. It's not my scene. I felt very awkward, actually. He knows I didn't like it.
Another ex-Valiant rep says, well, what's Philidor? I've never even heard of it. And they're like, we're trying to keep it on the down low. No one's really supposed to know about it.
The FTC loves to talk about fine print and conveniently ignore all of the other communications that the lenders took to inform the consumers.
These acts of terrorist violence are abhorrent, they are inhuman. We will use all the means at our disposal to bring those responsible to justice, no matter what or how long it takes.
They refined her to a wheelchair. She advocated for people who had disabilities.
Of that family, the king. Now we barely make ends meet. Every day is a struggle.
you live in great style, from what I've heard. Well, perhaps you should take a leaf out of your late brother's book. He was frugal, you know.
He was born frugal in every department.
And that frugality earned him great favor. And he passed it on to the women in his family.
But even these figures worry Truman. He reluctantly gives the go-ahead for the first stage, Operation Olympic.
Truman comes out of...
Everyone was conscious of the fact that if you spoke up, your next meeting could be with an assassin.
In the quiet of the New Mexico desert, the president funds the Manhattan Project, a top-secret weapon, one he believes could bring any country to its knees. Physicists are working to release the incredible forces within atoms. In the US, civil rights activist Samuel Untermyer demands a boycott of German goods.
The only crime charged against the Jews is that they are Jews. Shall the world...
Bodies are being melted. Enormous numbers of casualties on the ground actually lost their lives as a result of suffocation or poisoning rather than they were actually burnt to death.
While the Allies hurriedly make white robes and paint their tanks to blend with the snow, the German army quickly moved to secure crossroads and bridges. Its hated enemy.
To Hitler, it looks as though the battle is won, because on a map, almost all of Stalingrad is now in German hands, and he can take the rest at his leisure with small assault groups.
It's like, wow, Eureka, we've got it. Now they can bait their own trap for the Japanese at Midway.
You can imagine Admiral Nimitz's delight when I showed him the above-decrypted translated message.
One pilot who survived, who lived into his 90s, said that he could close his eyes, and the one thing he could remember, vivid, clear as day, was the sight of the Japanese fleet out on the horizon.
The Japanese...
We get to where they're supposed to be, and not there. Nothing. I mean, just ocean as far as you can see. And at this point...
Two things. That number one, that Americans worship their battleships. So if you knock the battleships out in the first round, Americans would feel as if they were stripped of their most potent weapon. The other thing that...
I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love.